Alright, you guys, I've got the rear cover off, got the engine off the stand, rear cover's off, it's over there. Just peeling this gasket. Then I'll be able to put the new gasket and new cover on, or well, new to the engine, anyways. But, yeah, I'm just getting this off here, and I'll keep you guys updated. About dropped it. Alright, y'all, so I've got all the old gasket off. Looking pretty good. So I'm about to get this new gasket on here to the rear cover. Right here. That one goes there. There we go. Alright. So I just gotta put some RTV down here. I'm gonna go ahead and put a bead going across it. And I'll get this cover back on here. It's all nice and cleaned up. Nice new seal. I'll get these bolts back in, get it torqued back down. So, stay tuned, y'all. I'll keep you updated. Alright, y'all. So I've got the new rear main seal and the other cover on with the new gasket. All the bolts are in and torqued down. So, next I just gotta put this flex plate back on and Loctite these bolts. And it should pretty much be ready to go and get bolted up to the trans over here. So other than push rods, it's pretty much all I'm lacking. I don't know if I got a thermostat in there or not. Yeah, it's got a thermostat in there. So yeah, it's pretty much should be good to go. So yeah, I'm gonna get this flex plate back on here and get it all torqued down and thread locked, and that's about it. So y'all stay tuned, I'll keep you updated. Hey YouTube, alright, so I've got the engine mounted, like bolted up to the transmission. I have one flywheel torque converter bolt in there, the other two are right there. Same without having the push rods in there, I don't want to spin it over, so it's just gonna have to wait to do that. See, but I've got the engine and trans is bolted together. I got my one bolt in there right there. Everything else is in. I got that rear plate on with the new gasket and the new rear main seal. Has a new front main seal. I mean, everything is coming together very, very quickly. So I've still got to get, that's for the oil pan. Okay, so I have another bracket laying around here somewhere. I brought it over here, yeah. So I've got these two brackets here. So one of these two, I don't remember which one, but I can use either one of these. But I think these two bolts bolt onto the transmission, and these two bolts here bolt it to the block. Yeah, I think it goes like this. So maybe something right in there, something right about like that down in there. So I've still got to get this bracket on. If I end up not using that one, I can use this one. That one's got a lot more bolts. It's a lot more of a pain in the ass, but it does the same job. So as long as I get one of those two on there, I'm good there. I mean, other than that, everything's really coming together. I've still got to get the push rods, so I can get push rods in there. I've still got to get the harness on. It's over there. I mean, other than that, there's really not too much more left to go on this thing. It's pretty much just get the harness all on there and all plugged in, and I've got to get push rods in there. And other than that, I've pretty much got everything done. I did this bolt snapped, so I drilled it out. I have to tap it to have the same threads as this one. See, threads, no threads. So I'm gonna have to drill that out probably a little bit more before I can tap it, but I just didn't want to go too far and it'd be wrong. So Once I tap that, the exhaust will be ready to go. I just got to get an O2 sensor for there, and which should be on the car now. So, and there's another one on this other set of headers over here. I was debating on trying to use these. See, I've got that one there. Yeah, I was debating on trying to use these on here because I could expand this piece here with the exhaust pipe expander tool from Harbor Freight. They're like 20 bucks. And if I can get this piece to expand, then I might be able to get this crossover piece just to slide in there. I'm just going to have to get this adapter piece off because that's the original. And see, I slotted the shit out of it even more, trying to make it work. It just looks like shit. I tried to cut it right there. Wouldn't even cut. But if I can get this little adapter piece off and I can flare that in, I might be able to get these to work. And then I could use headers on the black Grand Prix also. But overall, engine and trans is together. I just got to get these last two flywheel torque converter bolts on. So I will do that tomorrow because I will be back over here tomorrow. But it just started kind of sprinkling a second ago. I started picking everything up and trying to hurry and get everything in here, and now it stopped. So I'm gonna keep doing my thing, but it's definitely coming together. So once I get this thing 100% ready to go, and all I'm lacking is the push rods, I can go ahead and pull this engine out. And once I get this engine and transmission out and set to the side, I can just pull the valve covers, take the push rods and the rockers, more than likely, and just use the push rods and the rockers on that engine, and then yeah, pretty much straightforward from there. So, but yeah, that's my plan, and I'm gonna keep the hot air intake, whatever you want to call it. I'll keep that on there with the supercharger and everything once I get the other engine in. But for the most part, this thing's it's running and driving really well. The only thing I don't like is that transmission, weird ass transmission noise, and it jerking and shifting hard. And the AC compressor makes a weird ass noise when you turn the AC on. So I'm sure that compressor is going out. So I have another compressor for it. Really, the only things I'm really gonna have to keep off of this is this bracket here for the dog bone mount. I'm gonna have to keep the oil dipstick because I don't have one for the supercharged engine. And yeah, it's really not that. I know I'm gonna have to keep the purge solenoid. Other than that, like almost everything else is getting switched and swapped around. So, but that's where I'm at with this. So I'm really ready to get this engine out and get it on the stand and start tearing it apart. And I'm ready to get this other engine and trans back in here with the harness and the supercharged computer, and everything is pretty much ready to go. So you guys stay tuned. I'm going to be back over here tomorrow. I'm probably not going to do the swap this weekend because I don't have any extra money for trans fluid or antifreeze or any of the fluids and everything. And I still have to figure out this dipstick tube. I might just have to use the one that's in the car now. So it'll clear the exhaust. I was trying to bend this one, but I don't want to bend it too much. Like, it'll bolt on there, but then it just puts the tube right in the way of the bolt on the flange. So I've just got that in there, just keeping dust out of it for now, because I don't want nothing getting in there. But I mean, overall, it's came together really quickly. So like, threw me another spark plug boot on there for my elbow on the PVC. And look, I'll show you. This is the other piece that normally goes in there. Look at this. You just set. Okay, there we go. So yeah, piece goes right in there. It'll normally go right to that boot. Plug right in. Look at that. Had to pull pretty hard to get that thing off there. But yeah, that's Yeah, it ain't just gonna come right out. So that'd be a good little deal for cheat code for y'all. But yeah, I'm really excited. Can't wait to get this thing in there and hear it run. Get this thing supercharged again. But yeah, I'm really happy with the progress I made. I'm gonna just keep working at it, and tomorrow I'm just gonna try to get everything buttoned up and make sure everything's 100% good, except for the push rod. That's the only thing I can't really mess with right now is the push rods. And until I can get the push rods in, I can't throw on any of the rest of the accessories or anything. So I've got to get some push rods ASAP. And I might just go out to the salvage yard tomorrow and grab some out of a car at the salvage yard. I just want to get this thing going. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I will let you guys know. I'll keep you updated as I go. But for now, I think for tonight, I'm just going to pick all my stuff up and get everything packed back in here, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. So y'all have a good night. Stay tuned. YouTube. Alright, it's Saturday. I've been over here in my storage for like an hour or so, not very long. I haven't really got a whole lot done for the 06 pre-engine, so I did go out to the salvage yard this morning. I got a bunch of stuff, but I found the tensioner for the supercharger belt and got the correct size pulley because the pulley was gone. And then I already had this bracket, but I went ahead and got it painted up. And then this is the EGR for the Grand Am engine, so I masked it all off and got it painted up. I need to find the ribbed pulley that goes on right here on this nut right here, because the tensioner goes over to the side, and then there's a ribbed pulley right there. It's about the same size as that pulley, but it's ribbed instead of flat. So I've got to find a pulley so I can bolt on that. Yeah, not a whole lot going on right now. And I got a whole bunch of stuff out at the salvage yard. I got this nice little center console for my girlfriend's car. I needed tan, but all the tan ones were gone, and that was like the only one available in the yard, so I got it. And then got these couple little badges. I thought they looked pretty good on the 06. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna scratch off all this old adhesive and get some new adhesive and put these on the 06. Nice little red badges. And still got to get some push rods. Didn't find any out there. There was a couple supercharged cars. There was like a 98 Grand Prix GTP, and I did manage to get one badge out of it, and some floor mats and a couple other goodies. But there wasn't an oil cap on it. The hood was up, and it just poured down rain last night, and there was water all in there. And there's no telling how long that hood's been up with no oil cap, so I just left those push rods alone. And so I don't know, I was really kind of debating on getting them, but I was just like, eh. So I'm probably gonna run back over here to the Grand Am storage around the corner, and I've got to find a ribbed pulley for this bracket here. And then I've also got to bolt this EGR back onto the Grand Am engine. I still have to order the modular hub because I still haven't done that yet. I've located the manual transmission for the Grand Am, and it's in Kansas. So I'm going to end up paying for it this coming Thursday whenever I get paid. It's on eBay, and it's in Wichita, Kansas. So it's $250 plus tax, so it's like $273 and some change for the trans. And then I have to go to Wichita, Kansas to pick it up because it's pickup only. So it's going to cost me about $125 in gas. So I'm going to have $350 to $400 into the trans, but it's okay because I need it. It's the last thing I need. And then I can really start getting everything bolted together and getting everything mocked up and fitted for the Grand Am build. So that's where I'm at right now. So that'll be this coming week and weekend, next Thursday and next weekend. I'm going to get the transmission. So, I mean, I can't really make too much more progress on this until I get push rods for it, because I can't put any of the other bracketry on and really get this thing 100% until I get push rods in there so I can finalize the valve covers. So I'm pretty much at a standstill with this engine and everything until I get push rods in there. The 06 is driving pretty good. It still has that weird noise with the transmission at startup, but it's been running and driving good. Now it's throwing a check engine light for the EGR, or not for the EGR, for the coolant temp sensor below regulating threshold or some shit like that, regulating temperature. So I know it's had that code for like ever, with it being NA, but then once I supercharged swapped it, it was fine. I never had an issue. It was just misfiring. So hopefully there's no misfiring with this engine. I know 100% the block is good. It was running fantastic in the 07. So just different set of heads, different supercharger, all the same stuff, just different to the car, or to the engine. But it's all together. It's like 85% together, 90% together right now. So all I'm waiting on is some push rods. I can get push rods in there and get all the rest of the stuff on there, and it should pretty much be good to go. And then I can turn it over and I can get the other 2 torque converter flex plate bolts in there and get all 3 of those all tightened down. And then ideally I can bolt the starter up to it and crank it over and hear it go clunk, 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 clunk. So hear that good compression. I know this one has good compression because it was in the 07. So yeah, lots of progress today. Found a lot of goodies out at the salvage yard, and I think I got it was like $11 for everything, and that was with these nice Grand Prix floor mats. I mean, they are a little dirty, but I got both front and both rear floor mats. I got the center console. I got this Grand Am front bumper plate. I got this. I got a little round ashtray with the lid that pops up. I got a Series 2 supercharged engine cover with the oil cap and the extension. I got that tensioner. Man, I got a gas can, a whole bunch of little bits and pieces. Some of it I've already dropped off at the Grand Am storage. But yeah, I got a whole bang of stuff today for like $11. And I had like $26 store credit. So my store credit paid for me and my buddy David to get into the salvage. We looked around for like 2 hours, found a bunch of stuff, pulled a bunch of stuff off, got everything for $11. Even the stuff he wanted was all included. And then got us both 2 cans of pop for like another $3 or $4. So I still got like $10 or $11 store credit. And we got a whole bunch of stuff today pretty much for free. So it's a pretty good day. And then I come over here and fiddled around a little bit over at the Grand Am, fiddled around a little bit over here. Not a whole lot. I just wanted to come do something. I was getting bored just sitting over there at the house, so had to come over here and get something done. My buddy David didn't want to come, so I just come by myself. But and I'm pretty happy with the progress. Everything's coming along, slowly but surely. Wanted to just update on me finding the transmission, so hopefully here within the next couple of months I can have the Grand Am 100% together and running and driving. I've been talking to 2 or 3 different people about the wiring on it and just everything, machining the flywheel and drilling out the holes for the clutch pressure plate to bolt to the flywheel. And there's just a lot of stuff that, little fine-tuning stuff, but stuff that has to be done for it to work properly. But I've been finding out a lot of very good, valuable information that I needed to know, so I can have done before I get everything 100% bolted together for the final time, for final assembly. But once I get the transmission, I can go ahead and bolt it to the engine and set it down, you know, or drop the subframe, whatever I need to do. But I can at least test fit it into the car with the headers and everything, see how it's going to fit, get everything mocked up, and make sure all my mounts are good and how I need them to be, get the axles test fit, everything. And then once all that's done, and I know everything's going to fit 100%, then I can pull it back out, get the clutch and the flywheel all bolted on and everything. By then the flywheel should be machined, and the clutch pressure plate should have the holes drilled out so it can bolt down, and everything should just be ready to go at that time. And then once everything's all together with the clutch and everything's together and back in the car, then it's just making sure the fuel lines fit and connecting the exhaust and just wiring. So the wiring to me is going to be the hardest part. I wire subs and amps and radios and stuff like that, and I've extended wires on stuff before to make stuff work, but I've never actually like depinned a harness and looked up the full harness of what every wire is and where it goes to and what it does for two different cars, and then try to connect the dots. And I mean, it's definitely going to be a pain in the fucking ass, but with the help of these few 3, 4, 5 people, or if anybody else has any experience with it and can comment and chime in, I mean, let me know. But with the help of the people I've been talking to, hopefully in the next 2 months I can have this thing running, driving, hopefully by New Year's. So yeah, I'm gonna just pick up this little bit of bullshit I have over here and head back over to the Grand Dam storage, and I'll catch you guys over there. Alright, you guys, so I'm back over here at the Grand Dam storage. Alright, so I was over here earlier and I was messing with this, but you can see I marked this black dot here, this black dot here, and this black dot here to see that's flat. But if I lift this up over here, that's where my bolt hole is. And no matter if I have these 3 dowel pins here, and even if I pick this up and turn the clutch, the pressure plate, to where this other set of holes goes onto the dowels, there's still, like, there's another set of, see, there's that bolt hole, then there's a bolt hole there, which doesn't go to anything. And if I turn this, then this spot ends up over that hole. So it's like either way, there's no holes lining up with the bolt holes and the flywheel. So I'm going to have to drill out these 3 spots so I'll be able to bolt the pressure plate to the flywheel. So since I'm going to have to take this flywheel to the machine shop, I have to have them machine 330 thousandths off the whole face. And so while I have this there at the machine shop, have them doing that, I'm probably going to have them drill out these so that this will bolt on, and that way it'll be done by machine and everything, and I don't have to worry about drilling it in the wrong spot or not lining up. But that way it's marked so they know about where to drill them, and then that way all this will bolt up. And I also found out that since this flywheel is for an NA Camaro, that if I was using a factory L67 or L32 supercharged 3800, then I would have to have this rebalanced, because I guess the balancing is different between the NA block and the supercharged block to the crank. But since this is an NA block and an NA crank, then this should just bolt right on. I don't have to have it balanced. But I do have to have 330 thousandths machined off the face, because if I don't, then whenever the clutch disc is in there, then it'll always be engaged. It will never disengage and go into neutral when you hit the clutch. It would just stay engaged, stay in gear. So I have to have 330 thousandths machined off the face so that the clutch will be able to disengage and everything will work properly. But I need to get me a little cutout bit, a little circle drill bit so I can drill out right here for the slave cylinder or slave master, or the clutch master, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I've got that all in this box, all that brand new stuff. So I've got to get that drilled out so then I can get everything in here and get it mounted and at least be ready to go. I still have to get that little sandwich plate that goes on the inside, right behind the firewall right there where I drill that hole. And that's just what lets that little push rod seal and not leak. So I've got to get that off the parts car seal so I can get that on here because I couldn't find one, a brand new one online or anything. So I'm just going to have to take that old one and try to use it and just make it work the best I can. I mean, pretty much the engine is pretty much ready to go. I do still have to order this modular hub because I'm just going to leave the one on the Grand Prix, the 06 Prix supercharger, the other engine I was building. So yeah, I'm just going to have to order a new one. I haven't ordered it yet, but I will get it ordered. Just other stuff I'm focusing on. And this week I pretty much spent my whole check just paying the storage fee. Is almost $300, and I missed a day last week, so my check was a little short. So it left me like $80 something. And yeah, now I'm already broke. So, but I've made a lot of progress. I got the EGR put back on here after I painted it. Found me a heat shield at the salvage today. I got that. Right here, since I'm using the eBay headers, if you just try to bolt this on here, this will stick out like a quarter of an inch and it will leak right here, even with the gasket. And that is because so on the EGR, if I have another one over here, I don't know if I do or not, but on the EGR, that piece that sticks into the EGR port on the header right there goes in about that deep. It's normally about that long. And on the header, you only have about half that amount of space to go in right there where it seats. And so I had to use my grinder and grind that down to where there's only about that much on there, and then throw the gasket on there. And I ended up using the factory metal gasket for the full header, and then for the EGR spot, the gaskets that came with the headers are these. And I used these on the black Grand Prix the first time when I had the headers on it, and that's why they're kind of peeled a little bit in some spots. But I just took the EGR piece, because let's see, where'd that other one go? There it is. Yeah, this is the original one. And I tried to cut it like with scissors and wire cutters, and it didn't really work, and it leaked like a mofo. Plus, I hadn't grinded it down. So on this other new gasket that came with the second set of headers, I used these nice shears right here, and it just cut it like a pair of scissors, no problem, because there's a metal layer in these, but those are metal snips. So worked perfect, cut it right off, rounded it off, got it on there to where it fits nice, got everything bolted back down. And so now pretty much the only thing that I am lacking on here is I have to tighten down this clamp because it's still loose. I need to double check once the engine's in to make sure these are long enough. I still need to get the nut on this heat shield here, and there's a bolt that goes in right here onto that bracket. So I've got to get that on there. I need to get both of those on there. But pretty much the engine is pretty much complete. I mean, the power steering pump is still in there, so that will bolt on here. The power steering bolts are up there. My bell housing bolts are up there. I do still have to get the other downpipe off of the red Grand Prix, off the 07. I mean, I still have this one over here, but the other one is full stainless, and I think on this one I had cut that piece and then had to go buy another adapter piece because I cut it too short on the ones that's on the Grand Prix now. That was actually off the second set and that I bought, and yeah, so it's all stainless. It's not cut anywhere. So I figured I could use this downpipe and the other downpipe and merge them if I need to make it a little longer, and I can just make all of it fit and work. So, and be all stainless. And then once I get everything, I get this in, I get everything marked up, get my full length, and get it how I needed to get it, then I'll have this flange welded onto the factory Grand Am exhaust at the resonator, which is where I cut it off at. So then this will be like this to bolt up to the downpipe. And I have me a brand new gasket. I have my bolts right there. So I'll be able to bolt all that up. And then once I know everything's good, then I'll have the full downpipe completely welded all the way around on all the joints, the one I'm going to use, so that way everything is 100% completely welded. There shouldn't be no leaks. And I'm probably going to have them just weld this and weld this up here, and because once it's in, I mean, it's going to be in. So, and if I'm dropping the engine out the bottom with the cradle, then I can just leave the whole thing together and take it off and put it on in one piece. At least put a V-band or something right here. But I don't know yet. I'm really excited. I'm wanting to drive this thing again, and I'm really excited about how far it's come and how much it's actually coming together right now. I mean, it is a lot of money, but at the same time, I've been trying to build 3 different cars and a truck and keep everything maintained on top of my mom's car, my girlfriend's car, my neighbor's car, my friends' cars. Like, everybody wants me to work on their stuff, and I'm still trying to work on all mine and get all my stuff situated and worked out. But I'm really happy with the progress that I've made and how far the build has come. And I love how much all GM stuff is just pretty much interchangeable, just about. I mean, this is like 5 different cars, 5 different vehicles worth of stuff, and it all will just bolt together and work. I mean, it's crazy, but I love it. I just love how it just works. And I'm glad that other people have already done the swap, so I know it works, and I can just ask and get answers, and I don't have to go through all the trial and error. I mean, I know it's already going to be a pain in the ass just putting this in here and pulling it out once, just for test fitting and mounts and, you know, mock-up and everything, but having to do it 5, 6, 8, 10 times, whew, yeah, I don't know about all that, but it's definitely getting there. Next step I have to do is I've got to get this thing up on jack stands. I've got to drop this subframe back out with this transmission. I'm probably going to save the transmission because it does still have good guts in it, and my mom does have the auto in her Grand Am. But I am going to drop this subframe out of here and maybe see if I can just cut the transmission mount off of the 5-speed Grand Am transmission, or subframe. Is on the 5-speed subframe right down here. It's like, yeah, it's like right here on the side of this rail, there's a mount that comes off like this, and it's pretty much like the Grand Prix engine and transmission mount spot, and it's just welded onto the side of the subframe on the driver's side for it's a transmission mount, instead of it mounting up here onto the side of the thing right here, how they do on the Grand Am. On the manual, it mounts down to the subframe, and then has the rear mount down there and the front mount up here. So it's pretty much the transmission has 3 subframe mounting points, and the engine has the one that normally would sit up there. But I'm just gonna have to make it down there, and then I'm also still gonna put dog bones on it if I can. Like I'd really like to run the dog bone mounts. I mean, they just look good, and like I have to have this piece over the valve cover to run it anyways for the supercharger. So I figured since I have to use this bracket to run the supercharger tensioner and everything, like it has that on there, I've already painted it, I might as well use it. And then I bought these mounts. I mean, they seem to fit the radiator support really well. They're a lot shorter. They're off like a Pontiac Montana minivan. They're aluminum. I mean, they look nice. Definitely need to clean up the dog bones a little bit. Maybe paint them. But I mean, the only difference I found was, see, this one, it fits right in there on this one, but it doesn't really, that center metal piece is just a tad bit too wide to fit between there. So I'm probably going to have to grind those side and end pieces down a little bit on one of them, because one of them fits in this mount fine. It's just getting it into this mount that's the problem. But I mean, I'm definitely making a lot of progress. I'm really happy with it so far. I really can't wait to get this thing test fitted in here, and I know those headers are going to be really, really close to the fans, if not touching the fans. But I know with the factory manifolds, I had like 1.5 inches, 2 inches. These don't stick out that much further than the factory manifold, so hopefully I have enough room to clear it. But yeah, it's getting there. So probably tomorrow I'm going to be over at the house working on the parts car a little more. On this Grand Am, my wipers are broke, like on the inside, the mechanism. So I'm going to pull the whole assembly off the parts car. I got to pull both the wiper blade arms and then pull the cowl off. And then I can pull that whole assembly out of there. It's just a bunch of 10 millimeters. And I think these are like 12 or 13 millimeter nuts under these caps that hold the arms on. And yeah, so then once I get the arms off and get all that off, then I can swap all that onto this one. And then all my wipers will be good. And they won't hit my hood anymore. So, and then next thing I got to do is I've got to get this out because I can't really open this door very wide, so I might have to pull the door off. I can't even pull the door off because I can't even get to all the bolts. But yeah, next thing I've got to start working on getting that clutch pedal up in here and mounted, and just getting everything test fitted up. But it's definitely coming together. I'm definitely making a shit ton of progress, and I'm just going to keep working at it. So tomorrow, like I said, I'm going to be working on the parts Grand Am, getting that cowl off, and I'm going to try to get the axles out, because I need those axles. And I might take the grinder and see if I can just cut that bracket off on the side. And I need to get all those transmission mounts off of that car so I can have all those transmission mounts for this. And I can start getting everything swapped out. And as long as there's no major differences in that subframe except for that mount, then I can keep my subframe because it's all nice and clean and black and not rusted. And then I can keep my subframe and just have that bracket welded onto the side where it needs to go. And then all should be good. So you guys stay tuned. I'm going to get all my stuff picked up, and I'm probably going to call it for the night. And I'll catch you guys over at the house tomorrow morning. So you guys have a good night. Stay tuned. Alright, y'all. Yeah, this is that weird sound. Crazy. Is it when it's cold, and once it warms up, that sound goes away and it sounds normal. Yeah, I'm thinking trans. Hey y'all, okay, so I've got my push rod's in, everything's tightened down, got the bracket on, got the tensioner on, idler's on. I got this piece from the salvage yard, this little drip thing, holds the plug wires, got that on, rear ones are on. So now I just got to get the alternator bracket painted up so I can get it on here, get the alternator on, get the wiring on, and then it's pretty much good to go. But that's going to be it for tonight, so like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.